And you have 6 minutes.
And as I raised to my feet, Cahirlach, I am very conscious of the symbolism and the significance, like other colleagues, of having you in the chair. Minister, the last few weeks have been extremely difficult for survivors and their families. I know that the publication of the Commission report has reopened many difficult memories and caused enormous upset and re-traumatisation. Today, the report into the mother and baby homes and Magdalen laundries in the north has also been published. No doubt this will be a very emotional and difficult time for survivors again. I want to put on record my admiration for survivors' bravery, dignity and determination in coming forward to tell their stories and ensuring that their truth is told and their voices are no longer ignored. I want them to know that they are not alone, that we here in this institution are listening to them and standing in solidarity with them. The sad reality is that these homes operated across Ireland, north and south. The Commission report states time and again how babies were born in one jurisdiction and then taken to another. Women and girls from the north were taken to homes in the south and vice versa, to be out of sight of their communities. Pages after pages of unimaginable heartbreak. This is an all-Ireland issue. We have a duty to survivors to acknowledge this and factor it into our approach and response. I note that you, Minister, held a meeting with the Joint First Ministers Michelle O'Neill and Arlene Foster last week about the report in recognition of that fact, and I welcome it. The details of the report in the north are currently being outlined to our colleagues in the Assembly as we gather here for this debate in the Seanad, and it must be looked at and studied carefully. Survivors' voices, their needs and their concerns must be at the very heart of our approach and the steps that we all collectively are to take next. Survivors across Ireland have always been very clear that they don't want tea and sympathy from the government. They need to see clear action now to meet their needs and the challenges they still face today. We can never undo the hurt and the pain of these institutions, but we can act now to ensure further harm isn't caused. It's the very least we owe to survivors and their families. There are several ways that we can do this, including ensuring access to birth records. My colleague in the Dáil, Deputy Kathleen Funchion, published legislation last week to ensure survivors have a legal right to this fundamental point many of us take for granted, the right to know who you are, where you come from. We also have to find a compassionate and sensitive way to address institutions where human remains are believed to be buried on site. This must be done in consultation with survivors. Survivors also need access to specialist support, and I have made this case in the Seanad going back a number of years. They also need access to specialist support for accessing housing, counselling services and other therapies, as well as proper access to medical cards. We have an obligation to do the right thing now for survivors across our island. For too long, the government, the church and society has let them down, and this has to change. So for any survivors, I have no doubt I'm speaking on behalf of all of colleagues, both in the chamber and outside it. So for any survivors listening in, I want to send this clear message from the Seanad today. We hear you, we believe you, and we support you. And I'm committed to doing everything possible to ensure that this government now does right by you. Gormaigad.
Thank you, Senator O'Donnell.